Welcome to the Impact Lounge, where we highlight nonprofits, social enterprises, and individuals that are change makers in their local community. I am Stacy Huston. I'm the executive director at SixDegrees.org. And tonight I am really excited. I guess it's this afternoon. It's very rainy here. I'm excited to be talking to Sharon Gifford with Little Free Library. Welcome, Sharon.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me, Stacy.
Absolutely. So instead of me doing your bio, I would love to give you just kind of the floor to introduce yourself, share a little bit about your background and how you found your way to Little Free Library.
All right. Well, my name is Sharon Gifford, and I am addicted to books. Now, my background, I grew up in Texas, and I love to read. And I remember riding my bicycle to the library with my mom and my sister, and we'd check out books, and I'd put them in the basket of my bicycle, and I'd ride home. My mom was a school teacher. I graduated from the University of Texas, spent my career in sales, account management, and I worked for nonprofits and for-profits, and, always had a passion for education. And the fit for me at Little Free Library it really had a lot of synergy because I do love to read and I do understand how important education is. So I joined Little Free Library more than 6 months ago, less than a year ago. I don't know how to count anymore with the pandemic. So that gives you a range.
Yeah, we kind of connected soon after you joined there, and we'll talk about kind of how 6 Degrees kind of got plugged into Little Free Library. But we have actually a lot in common because I was like a tenacious reader growing up, and I was obsessed with Goosebump books, R.L. Stine. He had like such a big line of books, and my parents were like, well, as long as you're reading, like we'll buy you as many, but I could read one of those a day, like not a problem. What were some of your favorite authors growing up?
I started with Nancy Drew when I was really young. I always liked Nancy Drew, not the Hardy Boys, girl power. And, I graduated to Agatha Christie, and, I remember two of my favorite books growing up, Where the Red Fern Grows and A Wrinkle in Time. Neither which are mysteries, but, always love to read. Still love to read. That's my happy place.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's a nice way to kind of, escape, not in like a bad way, but as a kid to kind of go somewhere else and use your imagination as well.
Well, it's a great way to get to visit other worlds, other places, other times, to meet all kinds of interesting characters. So it just opens up all kinds of worlds.
So I want to jump in a little bit to Little Free Library. So for those that may not know the name, I'm sure they've probably seen a Little Free Library. They're the like adorable, they almost look like oversized bird houses that you find in like little neighborhoods. And they're kind of miniature houses and typically made out of wood. And there's a front panel that lifts up to keep it kind of weatherproofed. And there's books, and the name says it all, right? It's a Little Free Library. So it allows people to access that live in that neighborhood. They can borrow a book, drop a book back in. I think it's a fantastic idea, and I've always thought that they were so adorable, but it wasn't until recently that we kind of connected and I had a chance to learn more. So if you want to share a little bit about the mission of Little Free Library and kind of the backstory, I think that would be great for the viewers to hear.
Excellent. Well, I was surprised how many people, when I told them I was going to work for Little Free Library, said, "Oh, we love Little Free Library." We had no idea that you guys are not for profit. So most people are familiar with the cute book sharing boxes. And we've got, you can buy a Little Free Library already made, or you can get creative and make your own. But the idea is take a book, share a book, and it's about increasing book access. So Little Free Library actually started in 2009. Our founder, Todd Bowl, actually built a replica of a one-room schoolhouse and put books in it to share. His mom was a school teacher, and I really took off. And the original goal was based on Carnegie's goal to have, it was a really random number, 2,500 and something public libraries. So his goal was to have that many Little Free Libraries. And that was accomplished in 2012 when we became a not-for-profit 501c3. And to date, we have over 100,000 Little Free Libraries.
Whoa!
Yes, 100,000 Little Free Libraries. We are in all 50 states. We are in 110 countries. And this is really exciting. We are on all 7 continents. There is actually a little free library.
Antarctica.
South Pole. Yes, the South Pole. So you can go online to our website. You can type in South Pole Little Free Library. You can see the picture. It's got the pole and the flags and the little free library. But the idea is book access. So our mission really is, community, inspiring readers, but providing access to books where that books are scarce, because really as a geeky reader, not everyone is necessarily going to have that to be read pile that needs its own bookcase, but everyone needs to be able to read. Yes, you're in the club with me. Everyone needs to be able to read. Whatever you're going to do in your life, literacy is that keystone, that building block to be successful. And so our goal at Little Free Library is to help get books where they're needed most.
No, it's funny. It's I kind of went through a minimalism journey earlier this year, and every day I got rid of something, and each day in the month, the day that it was, I got rid of that amount of items, and I hadn't made it to my books yet. And as you can see, some of them are behind us. And then me and my husband both are guilty of like a large stack on our bedside table of like the books that are next in line. But it's really hard for me to kind of switch to Kindle or any type of tablet, because I love like the turning of pages, and it is kind of hard to let go of books. However, this idea of being able to put it into a little free library and share it with like neighbors and the community around me, as well as to access additional books that I don't already have. I just think it's such a genius idea. And it actually helps, I think, with letting go of things of that you've read before, which really I think is the whole purpose of books, right? To like read them and share them.
Exactly. And, one of the things with book access and, trying to get books where they're needed, called a book desert, there's a statistic that 2 out of 3 children in poverty don't have a book to call their own. So, really is important to make sure everybody can have a book.
Absolutely. That is a staggering statistic. So kind of then segueing over, this last year has been difficult for so many, right, with the pandemic, and as well as a lot of the racial justice just outcries that our nation has really seen. And it made me think about, Little Free Library and how you guys have had to like adapt and pivot, especially with a lot of public spaces like libraries closing. Have you seen like an uptick in those that want to support and help sponsor them in neighborhoods? How does that look for you guys?
So, it has been an interesting year. So last year at the beginning of March, we actually celebrated the 100,000th library. It was actually installed in Texas, in Huston. And then the world just sort of went, okay, we're shutting everything down. And so everything, had to pivot. And, I talked about one of the parts of our mission is community. And so our little free libraries are actually managed and owned by volunteer stewards. And so this sense of community, they really stepped up with, schools are closed and libraries are closed. Little free libraries became very important as a way to share books, but they also became a way to share toilet paper and to share food and to share masks and sanitizer and everything that everyone needed. And so we have a map on our website where you can find little free libraries. And we actually have, little free sharing boxes updated to let people know that it's not just books. During the pandemic, you could find a lot of things. So that was really amazing and heartwarming to see that community step up and to have that support for everything. And then again, because, schools are closed, can't get books at the school library. Libraries are closed, you can't get books at the, library. So little free libraries, are still open and available. They're open to everyone, no matter where you are. They're open 24/7. So it's a great way.
Oh, your signal might have popped out. Give it a second. I know that we are currently having a storm. I'm outside of the Washington, D.C. area, and it is pouring. We thought that we were, seeing some warmer days in our part of the country, but not so much. And Sharon, I think, is dialing in remotely as well from Texas. So we'll give her a second and see if she'll maybe be able to pop back on quickly. But in the meantime, I can share a little bit about the history of 6 Degrees and why we were connected with Little Free Library. So Little Free Library came on our radar towards the end of last year as we started looking at what we were going to plan for our projects and initiatives going into the new year. And historically, 6 Degrees has been agnostic to cause, meaning we will help any type of organization, nonprofit that we feel like is making a major impact in the local community. So we've done things with, pediatric cancer and a lot of conservation and environmental groups and upcycle groups, and we've worked a lot with kids and education. But really, as we looked at this year ahead, we said we really want to do a lot around the youth, as well as focusing on racial justice and representation. There's Sharon right there.
I'm back. I'm sorry. My name is Sharon. I'm addicted to books, and anything with an on-off switch apparently is not my friend. So I apologize for the issue.
That's perfectly played. No problem. I was just sharing a little bit about 6 Degrees and how we kind of got looped in. So it's kind of a perfect segue. But I was saying that we kind of refocused on youth and wanting to really support organizations that were looking at kind of equity and diversity and ensuring that they're looking at their organization holistically that way as well. And so we started talking, I guess, a few months ago now, and you told me about a fantastic initiative called Reading in Color. And I would love for you to share a little bit about that initiative and what that looks like. You guys launched it in Minnesota, but then maybe you can tease a little bit about how 6 Degrees is going to be working with you guys in DC.
Excellent. So, Little Free Library, I've mentioned before how many people didn't realize we're a not-for-profit, and, it is very much about book access. So, our existing program is the Impact Library Program, where we grant free Little Free Libraries. And we've given away a number that I cannot recall off the top of my head. I apologize, like 1,250 something. But under the umbrella of the Little Free Library, we have an impact program. But under the umbrella of the impact program, sorry, I'm still a little flustered from losing connection. So
it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Impact program. We launched Read in Color this summer in partnership with Cole McGoy, one of our partners in the Twin Cities, because we're based in Huston, Wisconsin. So after the death of George Floyd, we were like, okay, diversity and inclusion and book access has always been important. And how do we take this to the next step? And so Read in Color was launched first. Everyone is invited to Read in Color, to read and share diverse books. You can go to our website, you can sign the pledge, and you can say, I pledge to Read in Color. There is actually a list, a recommended book list. We have an advisory board with some amazing people on it. So there are early reader, middle level, and then adult titles for BIPOC, LGBTQ titles that you can read. But the biggest part that I am the most excited about is putting these Little Free Libraries in these book deserts, in these areas where books are so needed, and filling those libraries with books that reflect the communities, the culturally diverse, I should speak slower, titles. So, I'm not sure how much you're aware of, the statistics are really eye-opening.
Share them, because I wasn't aware until you shared them before, and they're pretty staggering.
So 77% of early readers, the characters are white or animals. So less than 25% of the characters in kids' books reflect people of color. And that's important because people need to see themselves reflected in the books. Children will, even adults, everyone, we relate and we connect with characters that reflect ourselves. So, the idea of mirrors, of being able to see ourselves in the pages of the book. There's also the idea of windows. We need to see people that don't look like us in the pages of a book, right? So
Absolutely.
windows and mirrors, and really it helps us to understand others and to increase empathy and understanding. And really, if we're going to change the world, because we've got 100,000 little free libraries across the world, to share those diverse books and those different perspectives and to allow everyone to be able to see themselves in the pages of a book. That's really, this is like, how do we take what we're doing and take it to the next level? So I'm really excited. We started in the Twin Cities and we are expanding nationally. And so that's how, we got involved working together for one of our future launch cities in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, it's amazing. And as a a woman that was once, a little girl growing up that didn't have a lot of representation in books. I know the importance of that reflection. I love how you said both mirrors and windows. I think that's a beautiful way to put it. Because it's not as if I can't learn from someone that looks differently than me, but it's about the amount of exposure that young people are provided, right? As well as representation. It's a combination that can only enrich us, right? Can only make us, I think, stronger, and more empathetic and compassionate and understanding, So I think it's a fantastic program. And I'm so excited to, be supporting it through 6 Degrees. And we're right outside of Washington, D.C. So we know that there are some book deserts, food deserts. It's just such a need, and especially a few of the wards, right? So we're looking forward to that program. And if people wanted to learn more about supporting Little Free Library, in general, or even the Reading Color Program Initiative, how would they do that?
So you can visit our website. You can go to www. I don't know if you even have to say that anymore. I'm showing my age. littlefreelibrary.org. And you can go in the programs section and you can learn all about Reading Color there. You can also follow us on all the social media platforms. You can, follow us on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. I don't know what the other ones are again, but
LinkedIn, you're everywhere.
At LinkedIn, I got that one.
TikTok, are you on TikTok? You guys?
I'm not sure that TikTok is live yet. So that one may be coming. And if it's not Megan, I'm sorry for putting it out there.
I'm sure it will be shortly if it's not up already. Everyone's moving to TikTok. But yeah, no, we love supporting your work, hearing a little bit more about what you guys are doing. I think it helps just amplify the incredible initiatives that you guys are working on, and as well as enlightening kind of viewers on really the disparities when it comes to access to books and representation in books, which is kind of the title of today's talk. One of the other figures that you shared when we met early on, and I don't even want to say the statistic because I could be off, but it was maybe only several percent of books that are have characters of color, so to speak, are actually written by people of color. So I believe it was 2 or 3% of that 25% are actually written by people of color themselves. So there's also a huge gap in just kind of those that are published and their work is being put out into the world. So you guys also have been really intentional about resourcing and vendors and where you're actually getting the books to put them into like the Reading Color program and your other initiatives. If you can share a little bit about that, I think it's a wonderful addition to what you guys are thinking about holistically.
Yes. And we do think about that. We are very intentional. So, beginning with, curating the list, the recommended reading list, we have advisors that are very intentional, very diverse, selecting these books. We need diverse books, Brown Bookshelf. And so it is very important that it is own voice authors that are sharing these stories. And then for the Reading Color, providing these books, supporting the local bookstores, BIPOC owned when possible. And, it's great. We love our publishing partners, and that helps defray the cost. But it's also really important that we purchase books because that's how the authors get paid. So it's really finding that balance, but it is important to support the entire community.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Sharon. We just appreciate your time today, just getting to share a little bit more about your guys' work. I think it's fantastic. And we'll be sharing more. So, if they're not already following you as well as 6 Degrees, and if you're watching today, please follow us on our social media channels. We'll be sharing more about our new partnership, and you can go to the website and find little free libraries like Sharon shared all over the country, all over the world. So
yeah, you can go to the map and find the one that's closest to you. And coming soon, which I will not give a date because I know better, but coming soon, there'll be a mobile app and you can find your.
Ooh, don't worry, I understand how long mobile apps can take. I also from a corporate world that doesn't do it any faster. So nonprofits, we have to really just do things as lean as possible, but mobile apps are amazing. But I will not hold you to a timeline because I know how finicky those things can be when you're developing them.
Well, anytime you're doing anything with technology, I, have been through enough conversions where you get a date and there's something that comes up that delays that date.
Yeah, like a pandemic.
Exactly.
Exactly. But here we are. So Sharon, I just want to thank you again for joining us. Thank your whole team at Little Free Library. We're excited to be able to share a little bit more about your mission, encourage followers to connect with you guys directly to support your work.
Yes. Come to our website, sign the pledge, read and share diverse books, and, we will be in touch. So stay tuned.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. Anytime. So that's it for the Impact Lounge today. Join us next week as we feature a new nonprofit and tell their story as well. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.